Thank you so much. You all know that I'm not as tall as I would like to be. And every time they set up these mics, they set them up for tall people, you know? But colleagues, we are winding down. And I wish to thank you most sincerely for your endorsement for me to continue to lead our party at this most critical time in our nation's development. I also wish to thank you for the endorsement of the titular officers of the party. And within short order, all of the other positions will be filled for the management committee following that first meeting of the management committee pursuant to our constitution. I'm humbled by the confidence which you have reposed in me. And you would have heard all of us make a pledge before all of you. And I wish to just add to that to say, I pledge to work tirelessly, purposefully, collaboratively, honestly, along with my colleagues, with you, our members, to bring victory to the DNA and to our people at the next general elections. We would have spoken to you and you would have heard all of our members who have had public outings speak about transformational leadership. And we do not call words for their own sake. And just briefly speaking, transformational leadership calls for a bottoms-up approach to leadership. Because what we have experienced in our political history is a top-down approach. We've experienced men and women, in more recent times women, sitting at the top of Queen Elizabeth Highway in a room called a cabinet, without any consultation with the wider public, without ever going back to their constituencies to speak to the people who elected them. And they stay there and they make decisions affecting our lives and our livelihoods, irrespective of how those decisions affect us. We say in the DNA, we are against that kind of governance and leadership. The voice of the people must be heard through a system of consultation. We say that we are committed to coming back to our people in regular dialogue when decisions, major decisions, have to be made. I firmly believe that had we had, for example, a wide consultation in respect of the management of the COVID-19 crisis, that we could have been further along. Instead, the men and women on the Hill chose to politicize the process. The pharaohs, thank you, chose to politicize the process, which naturally led to distrust among the electorate. Thank you. The pharaohs on the Hill, then, when their plans failed, they have resorted to all sorts of non-traditional methods to, ensure compliance. The DNA does not believe in that kind of governance at all. I want to tell you, we are committed to a system of parish councils in terms of how we decentralize government. We believe that men and women in communities know intimately the issues and the challenges facing them. They must be able to work collaboratively and together with businesses, with other persons, to devise solutions to the problems that confront them as communities. It cannot be that the Prime Minister, for example, sitting at the top of Queen Elizabeth Highway, could know what is happening in the St. Paul's constituency, for example, and fashion a solution out there without ever speaking to the people of the St. Paul's constituency. And so we say, true democracy requires a robust system of consultation. It requires reposing confidence in the people of a parish to identify their issues, their challenges, and to work collaboratively with each other, with businesses, with technicians in government to fashion a timely and comprehensive solution to those problems. And so when we speak about a new kind of politics and a different style of leadership, our parish council system is but such a process. I also want to tell you that, as our GS said, our 2040 vision is an architectural blueprint for the redevelopment, restructuring, and repositioning of our country and our economy and society. And since 2017, when we began to speak about our Vision 2040, I hear all of the kind of political party, the two other ones. I hear one spoke about a 2030. I think I heard one speak about a 2033. And I don't know if they think we call a number for calling a number's sake. Our Vision 2040 represents a 20-year long-term development. A plan developed and devised by the people, for the people, with government creating the enabling environment for all to prosper. It is that type of vision that will put meat, put legs, put teeth in the program designed to lead to the pathway to prosperity. We have spoken about the diversification of our economy in a comprehensive way. And the professional coggers in the other political parties, we hear them talking about it. But when pressed for what it means, they just spin words around and around. We in our party say when we speak about the diversification of the economy, we are serious, because history ought to have shown us that the dependence of an economy on just one single sector is dangerous. Look at what the COVID-19 pandemic has done to us. Historically, we moved from the production of sugarcane to tourism, which we've been in for about 75 years now. And no leader in the past had a vision, had a commitment to developing other sectors that could even feed into that tourism sector. And so agriculture and fisheries have been left to languish. And so to this day, we have not been able to fashion any meaningful policy that would lead to and guarantee food and nutrition security for our people. What's the purpose of teaching agricultural science in the schools if there is no program that will lead to those students who do well, who pass, who want to pursue agricultural and fisheries pursuits as a career, to harness their skills, to know that there are markets which government has guaranteed? Is sport we playing? Is sports we playing? And not serious sports either. When we speak about the tourism sector, it is past the time, 75 years plus, to be marketing Antigua and Barbuda as sand and sea. I heard recently one of the ministers say sand, sea, and security. What happens to cultural tourism? What happened to culinary tourism, agro-tourism, research and development tourism, architectural tourism, sports tourism, health tourism? Diversification must be serious. So that in addition to marketing sun and sand and security, because those countries in the Caribbean, which are dependent, overly dependent on tourism, are marketing the same thing. We must be able to tell people, when you come here, we have such a melting pot of Caribbean nationals living here. You will have food options never seen anywhere across the world. We must be able to say, listen, our sporting facilities are so developed, so modernized, so state-of-the-art, that professional sporting teams can plan a summer retreat in Antigua and Barbuda, and the athletes can have that program and all the other amenities that we can offer as a country. The one that I'm really passionate about is the historical and archaeological tourism. Because I say all the time, our history as a people is yet to be told. I don't know, because I don't have anybody small in school right now, if that's teaching us about Christopher Columbus. But that is one of the biggest historical lies that has been foisted on us as people in the developing world. Because it goes back to the basic premise. Can you discover something that exists already? How can you discover that which is known? And it is time to tell our children the truth about our development. And while I say that, let me just pause here and to say to all of our members, the DNA is also about changing the language of how we speak. And I want to tell you from this day forward, I don't want any DNA member to have any kind of discussion, to be in any meeting, and to refer to our forebears as slaves. We were never slaves. We were enslaved people. We are a proud people who were brutally captured, enslaved, and brought to through North America and into the Caribbean and other places. Forced to work without compensation. So we were not slaved. We were a proud people who were enslaved. You gotta change the language if you're going to live your reality. I wanna also say to you, one of the hallmarks of the DNA, which makes us so uniquely different from any other political party which has existed in this country, is our firm commitment to term limits, both inside of our party and at the national level. I can tell you every single leader in the DNA. I see them all as potential leaders of our party and potential prime ministers of Antigua and Barbuda. We don't claim any position unto ourselves for eternity. You're never going to hear anybody in the DNA say, oh, we are going to reign for 1,000 years. That is not a healthy democracy. And so in any meaningful democracy, there has to come a time when the baton is passed to the new and next generation of leaders. And we are fully committed to such a process. And this is why the parish council system is so important. Because we are developing leaders at the local level to hone their skills and talents to assume leadership at the highest level. This is what differentiates us. Earlier, when my colleague Malika Parker spoke at the beginning of this Congress, she spoke to us about a pumped up and trumped up economy that this government wants to fool us into believing that we have. When last you hear them talk about economic powerhouse? When last you hear them brag about that? There is no, and there has never been any economic powerhouse. You have a group of people, bandits, rogues, vagabonds, who have enriched themselves through corruption, bribery, thieviness, bubble. So any kind of economic powerhouse was for them. Because the masses have never even come close to having opportunities, honest opportunities to generate wealth for ourselves. Look at what they did the other day in the parliament through the newest tax measure that they implemented. Any government that is serious about transparency, accountability, integrity in office, any government that is serious about the good governance agenda has to have a full commitment to checks and balances. And where it comes to spending the taxpayers' money, your money and my money, governments are called upon to be their most transparent. And this is why in any serious country, not the banana republics like what we live in, the process of government procurement must be transparent. It must be able to be held up to scrutiny by any citizen or resident, any taxpayer. And that person or group of persons says, well done. That was a fair process. That was an honest process. But what has this government done? True to form. It has eliminated or significantly reduced the functions of the tenders board and decisions as to how government contracts are procured and approved now lies at the top of Queen Elizabeth Highway in that room they call the cabinet. This is why I said earlier to Gaston Brown, let the people go. Let the people go. Because what they have now done is they have perfected that process, that system for nepotism, for under the table dealings, for corruption. So that no small contractor, whether he or she comes from 5 islands, Cedar Grove, Freetown, or Old Road can see a bid being advertised, an invitation to bid for any contract, and sit down with that person's accountant, business advisor, lawyer, family, friend, and put a proposal together and submit it and expect that the process and the processes for examination will be fair, will be honest, will be above board. People now have to say, well, let me go see so and so, because I'm going to have to factor in an additional X million dollars, or how much, $100,000. So that when I go, I'm going to say, well, Mr. Minister, I am applying for this contract, but be assured, I put in your share in it. It is time for them under the table deal to be done within this country. We cannot continue like this. This is a banana republic in all of its glory. We, the people, must have that courage to change. You have to have that ambition for yourself, your family, your children, their children, and the generations that we don't even know what they're going to look like. But we know they're from us. And they too must have fair opportunities to grow, to thrive, to develop, to build generational wealth like other people who come here have done. I remember years ago, one particular expatriate family who had come here, and they have their children here, so they're Antiguans and Barbudans, yes. They come from far, far, far. Far. And that person said to me, we have so much money that we have secured generational wealth for the next 10 generations of our family. A generation is 27 years, give or take. So if the next 10 generation money done secure now, that means they have enough money for the next 270 years of their family. And the people in Liberta, Point and Villa, Grace Farm and Green Bay, and All Saints, some of them don't even know what tomorrow's lunch is going to look like. It is time for us to rid our politics of this kind of nepotism and favoritism. It is time for us to have that courage to change. We in the DNA say we are about prosperity for all. All are we. All of us. And if we continue to uphold these bandits, these autocrats, these dictators to run, rule, and ruin us, who we have to blame but ourselves? The DNA is not about any divisive politics. You're never going to hear any of us say, well, them they saw a red, them they saw blue, so then I had a space in the DNA. We are an all-embracing, all-inclusive political organization. We believe in fairness and equity and meritocracy. We believe that the time has come in Antigua and Barbuda for political tribalism to end. You have the politicians as Mr. Astephen told us. Dividing families, dividing neighbors, dividing friends. For what? And when you hear people say, all the politicians and them a friend, it's not a joke. It is not a joke. Why you think what the average man and woman knows about who thief what, when they thief it, how much they thief? They're thieving openly now. And no political party in this country has ever brought any politician to justice. What can go so? And I want to tell not only us as members, people who are listening, that any political party coming to you, telling you about justice and how if they get a next chance, what all they're going to do, I expect you to look them straight in the eye and say, we're going to do this time that you didn't do the last time. Right? Stop allowing them to fool you. Stop it. You heard what Mr. Astephen said. What he said the man called them? Them asses. Not the masses. We've got to wake up. Each of us has courage inside of us. Yes, you might be afraid. But listen, if everybody put down their fear and everybody hold up and hug up and put forward their courage, we will bring about the changes that are necessary in Antigua and Barbuda. I'm going to be winding down soon, but I want to tell you as well, COVID has exposed the charade of the Gaston Brown administration, because it is nothing but a charade. I have a lot of sympathy and empathy in my heart for anybody who is suffering. But you know who I feel? You know, I feel it for in this country. You know who I feel it for deep in my spirit? Our children. Our children. Many of whom the government will tell you, oh, we have moved them to an online platform. You saw this, right? They are in the Google Classroom. What they're not telling us is that more than 3/4 of our children are not accessing no Google Classroom. More than 75% of our children don't even have internet home. More than 75% of our children don't have the devices, much less working devices, to have them learn, to be prepared for life. Who they fooling? And some of these very parents whose children are suffering, they're jumping up behind them. You can't love nobody more than you love yourself and your family. We are saying to you, put aside your political coloring. Open your eyes wide. Be honest and true to yourself. And just ask some simple questions. How come for generations my family still living in this situation? And it's not because of lack of ambition either. How come for generations nobody in my family has been able to access government lands? How come we have generations living in the same household, in the same yard, when Gaston Brown has no problem giving away 5 acres of land to go build big building for peppercorn prices? If your government don't love you and you vote for them, what you be? My grandmother would have said, you want kono mono. What are you? If somebody continually abuses you, your children, and then they come back and promising you the world that they promise you every 3 or 5 years, because in this government now, election every 3 years. Whatever the period. Why is it that it is so difficult for this government to treat the people of our country well, decently? Why is it so difficult? And have the nerve to say they're coming to you? Look at Barbuda. Look at Barbuda. This is why up to last week, the Honorable Trevor Walker had to bawl out. I felt it for him because he bawl out. Let us go! Because they're tired of the systemic abuse. They're tired of the historical abuse that continues to be meted out to the people of Barbuda by the Antigua and Barbuda Labour Party. Can you imagine? You live in a house and without any consultation with you, somebody come and say, well, listen, as of tomorrow, Malika and her children coming here. Bruce and his family coming, so just smile up yourself and dress over. Eldika coming with her sister. How you would feel? You could sit down and stomach that? So when the government tells you, oh, don't bother with Barbuda people because they just want to keep the land to themselves, ask them, you take me stupid? Why are you bringing these lies to me over and over again? 2017, we had a massive hurricane that destroyed Barbuda. So much so that Gaston Brown said, well, listen, he wasn't taking no more chance and you have to evacuate everybody. All the people went to cool out in the caves. They sent police and defense force to get them out. So everybody have to leave Barbuda. And when the people and them in Antigua, you don't make the proper plan for when they're coming out. You never call up Malika and say, Malika, you could have housed 2 Barbudans for me. Government will assist you. They never call up Patricia and say, Patricia, knows you want to live in the house up there. I think I have 2 spare bedrooms. You can't help anybody. They never said, Dalso, you could take two people. No provision. It had to take private citizens of this country to mobilize, to have people take people in their homes. And then he puts them up in these shelters. I have visited a couple of the shelters. And listen to me. Nobody could have put me there for live. Not me. No, sir. And you know what these pharaohs did? When the people of Barbuda came here, supposedly for their own safety, they sent all kind of land surveyor over to Barbuda to go pawn up the people land, so that by the time they came back, new dispensation. But I tell you all the time, Barbuda people different to Antigua people. They're different. Barbuda people and Old Road people and Five Island people, they tell me a time. I don't know, Five Island people still the same. They're still the same. They're still independent. And the people of Barbuda went back over and they said, no way, not you, not here. And I'm saying this to say, the DNA is not against development. We are very much for development because the diversification of our economy is underpinned by a proper program of development. But development has to include a consultative process where people are working with government in tandem to see which is the best model and the best fit. I tired of hear government say, oh, Barbados is going to become a green economy fueled by green energy. It's going to be a model for how small island developing states, which have been largely untouched, can develop holistically. And I'm tired of asking, how many young people who live in Barbuda, or Antigua for that matter, has the government purposefully selected to provide scholarship opportunities for them to go away to study environmental science and other affiliate subject matters, so that when they finish, they can come back to drive that green economy? They can tell you non-tal. Who they fooling? Wake up, Antigua people. I am not one to ever leave out the word Barbuda when I call the country name. But I'm saying deliberately, Antigua people, wake up. Because Barbuda people are woke long gone in time. We've got to wake up. I'm going to wind down just now. We've got to stop allowing not only the government, but the other political party to pit citizen against resident, to further divide us, because that is what they like. You all ever heard about divide and conquer? It is an old political ploy that the pharaohs have perfected. We have to put an end to that. We've got to put an end to that. Colleagues, the future of our country, a meaningful future, a bright future, the pathway to prosperity cannot be found in any of the other two political parties. They've had their chances. They have not done anything to impress you in a sustained way. And you have to determine, given the new challenges which COVID-19 has presented, the new challenges which climate change continues to present, the new challenges which a failing economy has presented. You have to determine whether you are prepared to ruin another generation of Antiguans and Barbudans and the people who live here by electing any of the other two. You have choice. You have meaningful and real choice now. You have the DNA. As Mr. Asifan told you, we're not responsible for the crumbling infrastructure. We're not responsible that our roads are like worry boards. You have to literally decide which pothole you're going to drop in. And you're going to drop in it slowly. You're not tired of having to buy shocks and tires and so? You're not tired of the head gasket blow? You're not weary? You're born for suffer? We're not the ones who are responsible for the fact that the elevator in the Heritage Hotel not working for nearly 2 years. Is not the DNA. We're not the ones who are responsible for the fact that pensioners who have done their time and are now in their sunset years have to line up like common beggars to receive their pensions. That's not the fault of the DNA. We're not the ones who are responsible for the equipment at the hospital not working. So you have to go to the private labs, pull your purse that empty to pay for lab tests, that you have to go to medical benefits to try to get back the money, but no money there. That's not the fault of the DNA. It's not our fault that for over 40 years, we cannot have a reliable system of water coming through the pipes. We're not the fact that you have to schedule your shower, broke your sleep, for wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning for wash your skin, try go back to sleep, or wash your clothes, but you can't hang out your clothes, go outside, in a so safe. A Cuban frog out there. We're not responsible for that. We're not responsible for when the electricity goes off, pop, and your fridge blow, your microwave blow, your TV mash up, and you ever tried to get back money from APUA? Well, I have tried, and I had a lot of confidence, and I thought I was going to get through. And I did everything they tell me to do. I even knew the time when the current went off. Come and write it down. This is not a real country. And those 2 little girls sitting over there, they must not grow up believing that what we have to live by is normal. It is not normal. When you come home and you turn on the switch, the light must come on, man. Unless you pay your bill. But once you pay, the light must come on. When you turn on your faucet to bathe your skin or flush your toilet, or to wash your clothes, water must be there, and it must not be black. It must not be orange either. I am appealing to the people of Antigua and Barbuda to believe for once that you deserve better. And I'm saying to you that hope is on the horizon. Hope is on the horizon with the Democratic National Alliance. And what we're doing here today should inspire you and should make you feel and believe and know that we are serious in our pursuit of the good life for all in Antigua and Barbuda. We want to make government work for you. That is our solemn commitment. But you have to believe it. You have to stop behaving like a battered spouse. You have to begin to believe that you deserve better. That the people we elect to govern us must love us like they love themselves. And the 10 generations that don't born yet, but their money secure. And if you take a chance on people who have failed you before and continue to fail you, then I have to conclude with my grandmother. You're nothing but a kunumuno. Right? But I know, I have faith in our people. I know that you deserve better. I know that you yearn for a better Antigua and Barbuda that works and functions. And I know that you want something fresh, new, and dynamic. And the only how you're going to get on that pathway to prosperity is when you have the courage to change. The DNA is the real option, the only viable option to changing the status quo in Antigua and Barbuda. The only viable option to change the status quo in Antigua and Barbuda. And it is only you who can make that happen, not only for yourself, but for the rest of us. Hope is on the horizon. Make the right choice. And that choice must be the Democratic National Alliance. Thank you, and I love you, and we want the best for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Leader. Madam President, correct. You're simply the best. We have had a very packed afternoon, but we have accomplished much. And so we are finally at the close. I invite now colleague Kelton Dalso to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the DNA. And he will be followed by colleague Eldika Horsford, who will bring us the benediction. And you will approach us unannounced. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon. I am tasked with giving the vote of thanks to everyone who participated in this historic occasion in the political landscape of our nation, the inaugural Congress of the DNA. Allow me to recognize first and foremost the Almighty God for his guidance. Without him, this Congress would not be possible. We would like to express special thanks to Pastor Edmund Thompson for the invocation, asking God's presence in today's proceedings. It was appropriate and fitting. Thanks once again. Keith and Kiana Till, you were inspirational. You have brightened the countenance of everyone here and those who are watching virtually. And we just want to say a big thank you for such a beautiful pan selection. To our guest speaker, Mr. Dwyer Astafan, your address to us has given us something to reflect on and to be even more resilient as we continue to demonstrate that the DNA is the only option of hope to take our people and country forward. You are no stranger to politics and continually advocating for good governance. We say a gratifying thank you, sir. We want to express gratitude to Mr. Juno Samuel for taking the time to be here with us and for swearing in our officers who will guide and take our party, the DNA, forward. Again, thank you, sir. You have been and continue to be an advocate for appropriate and sound electoral practices. Again, thanks. We want to thank in advance Eldika Horsford. You have always been a beacon, praying for us, asking God's guidance for this party. And I know today would not be an exception. We are so grateful to you. And for this, we say a hearty thanks. A very special thank you to Hammer Production for the strategic words and videos in promotion of the DNA's agenda and Congress. Special thanks to the management and staff of the Heritage Hotel who have afforded us the opportunity to utilize your facility. George Barnes, DJ Clouds, Chas Media, Murphy Charles, your continued support and goodwill are very encouraging, and again, a big thank you. We thank Party Paradise, colleague Onisha and Tekla for decorating the conference room in such a beautiful manner. Again, we say thank you. We say hearty thanks to our chairperson, Malika Parker, for her delightful remarks and for generally cheering today's Congress. Again, we are so grateful to have you as part of the DNA. Thank you so much. We thank all our Caribbean brothers and sisters who, from within the Caribbean, who actually, for your wonderful, encouraging and congratulatory greetings. Again, thank you very much. We want to thank our Deputy Treasurer, Cody Joseph, for encouraging the public to make contribution to us and for putting the motion to the floor for acceptance of our officers. To colleague Anthony Stewart, we want to thank you for advocating the policies and program in such a forceful manner and for highlighting and promoting our Congress on the radio. Again, thank you. We thank colleague Gateworth James, our General Secretary, for the party's report for our years in existence. Once again, thank you very much. To colleague Louis Rivera, the one who is responsible for all the technical operations and all the other parts you have played in the various pillars to make our Congress a success, we say thank you. To Shanil Imhoff and Gamil Joyce and the other members of the communication team, thank you for all the ads, radio outings, virtual advertising leaflets, and the time you have put in to make this Congress a success. We say a gratifying thank you. To all our members, prospective members, well-wishers who are here and are watching virtually, warmest thank you. To colleague Bruce Goodwin, we say we are so grateful for you, for your thorough, informative, in-depth presentation on the radio, public forums, and our virtual orientation exercise. Again, a big thank you, sir. To our political leader, a fearless woman, the one who will lead us into the next general election and become the first female prime minister. Your words were with humility and grace this afternoon, and we just want to say and express how grateful we are to have you as our leader. Thank you so much. Also for your acceptance speech, we say thank you. And to all those who have made our Congress a success in any way, shape, or form, and you did not hear your name, it was not intentional, and we thank you very much. We did it. We are now a political establishment which is institutionalized. Our constitution is ratified. Our officers are duly elected. We are now ready to bolster our campaign across the length and breadth of our beloved country, winning the hearts and minds of the electorate in the battle of ideas, policies, and programs to create the pathway to prosperity. Once again, thank you all.
Thank you for thanking us, colleague. Ms. Horsford. The mic can come. The mic can come to. Oh, sorry.
We're together again, praising the Lord. We're together again in one accord. Something good is gonna happen. Something good is in store. We're together again, praising the Lord. We're together again, praising the Lord. We're together again in one accord. Something good is going to happen. Something good is in store. We're together again, praising the Lord. Hallelujah. Glory. I'm so happy this afternoon to see that the DNA back on track. And I want all of the colleagues and everybody to pray for the DNA. Because without prayer, we can't go nowhere. Nowhere we can't go without prayer. I'm asking all of you to pray for all the colleagues and the leader in this party. Because we know we will make it this time. When we start first, it looked a little shaky. But it don't look shaky now to me. We're going to make it. We're going to make it this time. We're going to make it. When Miss Messiah called me and tell me she want me to come and pray after the meeting, I said, me wait for you long time for call me. Long time I wait for you for call me. Anyway, I'm here this afternoon. I want to ask God to give us guidance to go back home. Let everybody reach home safely. I know that my foot is hurting me, but foot have to stop one side. Me not study foot. And I'm asking you all to pray for me too, that I can walk better, because I want to campaign too. I want to go on the road too. My daughter said, Mommy, you go campaign. Me say, how you mean? I mean by if you go campaign. I'm asking all of you to join hands with one another and pray for one another, especially the colleagues, the people them that are running. We need to pray for them. When we're going to sleep in the night and when we wake up in the morning, we need to pray for them and ask God blessing to guide them and protect them and their family. In Jesus' name.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. Thank you, colleague. Horsford. Colleagues, it is done and it was well done. You're in agreement. I won't keep us any longer. I've received instructions that you should exit down the staircase on this side of the building for whatever reason, but you should come out on the first floor all the way down to the first floor. No? You're going to go down one floor and then cross over and then continue down the staircase that you came up on. So you just can't access the staircase from this floor. So thank you again, those in room and those joining us online. We are ready to go and we are ready for the takeover. We will disrupt the status quo. Thank you, colleagues. Journey safely.